Cricket 2007 is the last cricket simulation from EA Sports, which hit the markets around the world in November 2006. Amid stiff competition from Codemasters, who announced their latest title, Brian Lara International Cricket 2007, to be released in March 2007. The menus can be described as clunky at best. Control of the menu is sort of possible with a gamepad, although after a very short time I decided the mouse was the way to go. The menu structure just doesn't flow and looks to had been written by two different people who didn't talk to each other much. The end result being buttons just aren't in the right place sometimes. But this is a small issue, and I am sure a little time with the game and it will all be forgotten. The backing music, however, is refreshing. So to the game itself, I decided before switching to the century stick, I would try the game out with classic controls to get a feel for the game. There is also an option for automatic front foot, back foot as in Brian Lara International Cricket 2005 and 2007. First impressions of the new and improved stadiums was not good. The stadium graphics looked the same as in Cricket 2004. Okay, there was a new clock and some new trees, I'll give them that. The ground looked far too small and the spectators looked far too big. In fact, in the grandstands, the back row of spectators didn't fit into the grandstand and were watching with their heads sticking through the roof. The crowd just doesn't match the scale of the buildings. The players have lost their drag through a hedge backwards. Clothing look from Cricket 2005 but still look far too muscle bound and don't look anything like they do in real life. If you are hoping for realistic faces, forget it. I can recognize just some of the players in the England and Australian teams, but certainly the faces in county matches bear no resemblance to their real-life counterparts. This is made even worse as every player has the same body shape. New to the commentary this year is Mark Nicholas, and returning was Richie Binod. Unfortunately, they sounded like they were in two different studios. Many of Richie's comments were the same as in Cricket 2004. Mark's commentary had much more life to it, but they just don't engage in a two-way conversation at any time. Needless to say, the commentary is again boring and repetitive, and they keep saying, "Stopped by the fielder," "stopped in the covers," again and again and again, which is very annoying. Although I was using the classic control method, I was using the analog control on my gamepad and it felt anything but analog. The shots seemed to go to the same place every time, although not quite as bad as Brian Lara International Cricket games. So, I decided to try the century stick. What difference did it make? None. Batting was made much more interesting when I switched to the new behind the batsman camera. The batsman and wicketkeeper are semi-transparent, and this single feature could be the game's saving grace. Another downside of the small field is I seem to score in ones, fours and sixes only. I did manage some twos when playing a test match, but only when I mistimed the ball. I even managed to edge one behind, which the wicketkeeper missed, and I was able to grab 3 runs on a wet pitch. But usually, once you breach the fielders, the ball just seems to run to the boundary. Even the motion of the ball across the outfield doesn't look quite right. Fielding from the AI is as poor as ever, just reacting to where you last hit the ball. There is no joined up bowling fielding strategy. When will game creators figure this out? Bowling was a bit of a chore, as is usually the case in cricket games, and I found myself bowling a lot of no balls. To start with, a nice feature is being able to quickly set your field without pausing the game. In previous games, this was a real drag. Also, being able to change from over the wicket to around the wicket simply is also a big bonus, especially when a left-right handed partnership is at the crease. Bonus deliveries based on bowler confidence is also a plus. Works much like Brian Lara International Cricket. You are helped on screen with this before each delivery, and I'm sure that although it can be a bit difficult to remember which button does what to start with, a little time spent with the game and it will become second nature. I have encountered rain a couple of times, and on both occasions it just rained out the whole day. I don't know if shorter showers are possible. 5 levels of difficulty are available in Cricket 07, rated as stars. I can't see the point of the 1-star level. You'd have to be very bad at the game to get any enjoyment out of this, unless you enjoy being able to hit every ball out of the ground. Seasoned cricket gamers will probably jump straight in on 4 or 5 star. As I am not the greatest of gamers, I choose to start on 3 stars. This level is quite forgiving, but you can still edge it. Those expecting a huge change in style from Cricket 2005 will be largely disappointed. The bare bones of controlling the bowler are unchanged. The AI will now crunch cover drives to the boundary as opposed to patting them to the cover fielders. A manual field option is also available, although this just controls the end at which a fielder will throw to, as well as the strength of his throw. Fields can be changed at the push of a button, as can whether a bowler comes from over or around the wicket. Spin bowlers remain dominant, with a large proportion of their wickets coming via bad pad catches. Batting remains a big disappointment, however. In ODIs, the frustrating inability to pierce the ring of invisible fielders will annoy players during the power play, and even on 5-star difficulty, sixes are worryingly easy to hit. There's always this nagging pause screen after every over, just like Cricket 2005, where you can either save the game or change options, etc. I mean, what the hell? You have to press the resume button after every over, which is very annoying. Well, I could have lived with that, but the thing which really makes this game unplayable is the ball physics. I feel like crying when I think about the ball bat physics. Replays and highlights in this game, as they are broken and a disgrace to the previous entries by EA Sports. AI only loves to hit boundaries and is never much interested in running between wickets. Another worst thing in this game is that they don't show you how much overs have passed and how much overs are left, etc. To see the current overs, you always have to pause the game. As I said earlier, this game's user interface and statistics information is poorly displayed and broken. The ball itself feels like it weighs around 6 pounds, or the ball loves the gravity too much. The much hyped Century Stick does a great job of changing the strengths of stroke play, but in the end, the ball always travels in roughly the same direction. Bugs are for once not a major problem in this production. The lack of edges in 5-star difficulty will annoy, but 3 stars still produces a challenge and realism to boot. The stats for the off-strike batsman are displayed when a milestone is reached, but neither of these affect the cricket experience in any big way. The worst thing about this game is that I can't help but feel that I'm playing Cricket 05 over again. I got tired of playing this game after 40 minutes of gameplay. The shots just don't look right. The cover drive don't seem to show proper weight transfer into the shots. And the ball makes a funny, unrealistic sound when it's cracked from the middle of the bat for 4. We have almost the exact same shot animations as we did in 05. Really, the only shots I actually feel good playing are aggressive front foot slogs to long on. I felt that even though Brian Lara cricket was arcadey, at times you felt so good leaning nicely onto a front foot cover drive with a nice bat flourish. You just don't get that feeling in this game. Basically, the shots just look dodgy, and the ball physics in the air are also poor. On top of this, we see the same damn bowling actions over and over again. Same batting stance. It's gotten so repetitive that it's really boring to see the bowler bowl the exact same way each time. Sound is the worst part of the game. From the worst commentary in world to the worst crowd sounds. I mean, I never feel like I'm playing a cricket match in Faisalabad. It seems so dull even though the stadium is jammed packed. The sound for appeals is weak. As mentioned before, the sweet sound of willow hitting the ball is also very unrealistic. It seems like you are hitting a plastic ball around rather than a leather hard ball. Also, 5-star difficulty didn't challenge me at all. There were edges early in the game if you mistime your slogs towards long off, but really I was able to slog the ball around too easy on 5-star difficulty. Also, the bowling system is complex and that is its downfall. They should keep it really simple. The ball seems to swing way too much, and yet it never seems to trouble the batsman. I love the seam movement in Cricket 2004, where if you kept pitching the ball at a good length on a green top, one of the balls would nip back, in or away to trap someone plumb in front, and if it nipped away, the batsman would play and miss. It was a very simple system. Sure, it lacked swing, but the seam movement was very well implemented in Cricket 2004. The bowling system is totally unrealistic, although it's a lot deeper. I just prefer if they kept it simple. The spin bowling is also bad. You can bowl a pretty good flipper on a good length and the batsman just always seems to play the ball at the right line. There are not a lot of plays and misses on googlies and doosras. One thing that I found positive about spin was that I was able to flight one in the air against an aggressive Sehwag. And he played the drive too early and chipped one straight to cover. Anyways, the game is very disappointing. You look for a new feel and flow to the game, but you don't find that here despite some new features. It still is Cricket 2005 with a little bit of upgrades for worst. I can't say much about the century stick system because I use keyboard, but I simply hate how every bowler uses the same action and you can tell the difference of batting between a Lara or Tendulkar. This is the next step EA needs to take. Implement different bowling actions and also different batting styles. That's the future of gaming as we have seen in NBA Live with new signature jump shots. I remember how Triple Play 99 baseball had like 30 different pitching actions to choose from, some with like 30 different batting styles. It's just such a big hole left unfilled in the game. Let's talk about some positive things in the game. Computer bowls quite well, varying its line and length, even a few wides from short balls. Computer changes the field regularly if you hit shots in one area. Lots of teams to choose from. There are all the international teams, some A teams, a World 11 for ODI and tests, state teams and some touring teams like PM11 etc. Nicks through to the keeper are in the game. Some have little deviation, some have lots, which results in a massive dive. Did notice the keeper is a bit of a hog though and steals a lot of first slip catches. Training nets have taken a leaf out of Brian Lara International Cricket's book and let you have the bowler's ball to you at a set line and or length. Some of the shot animations are better than last year, especially the cut and hook. Camera is much better as you get to see the bowlers running in. Semi-auto fielding may be clunky, but it allows for overthrows, direct hit runouts, and rocket arms and custard arms from the boundary, which is what we want. That's all for the positives. Century stick doesn't work. When I say that, I mean it doesn't work as I expected. Yes, I can choose front or back foot on the left stick and short selection on the right, but never do I feel as if I have full control over the batsman and can play at 360 degrees. Every cover drive goes the exact same way to the exact same fielder. If he ain't there, it goes to the exact same spot on the rope, unless there is a deep fielder. The offside batting is terrible. There are only two shots available for front foot, cover drive and square drive. Cover drive looks pretty good, but as I said, it only hits the ball exactly to cover. Someone mentioned that if you play the shot a bit later, it goes squarer, which is true, but in that case, it goes exactly to point and often results in nicks as it is classed as late on the timing meter. The other front foot offside shot is the square drive, which involves the batsman getting down on one knee and taking a wild swipe through the offside. This shot only works if the ball isn't too full and is very wide. Rarely is it wide enough to play this shot unless you move your batsman away from the stumps, which of course exposes you to being bowled. In short, these were the only offside front foot shots available. Cover drive, straight to cover, works every time and never gets any runs while a fielder is there. Cover drive played late, straight to point, pretty much a nick along the ground which again gets no runs. It isn't a placing shot, it's simply a late cover drive which isn't timed well and often goes to the keeper off the edge. And the final one was the square drive, which is practically useless. There is no way to play pitched up deliveries through point. As for onside, same deal. Really, but the CPU never really strays onto your pads. Never seen a leg side wide. The century stick, for me at least, acts just like using a keyboard would with 8 different directions possibly, not 360 degrees. As for more negatives, incorrect names, but they can be changed quite easily. The grounds are tiny, especially the inner fielders. 2s and 3s are only made possible because the batsmen are lightning quick. Brian Lara International Cricket had better ground sizes. Crowds look terrible. They've crammed in more of the same cardboard cutouts from last year, which can make the game quite laggy at times. They need to be made brighter like the Brian Lara International Cricket ones, because at the moment it's all grey, light blue, yellow, very light dim, dull colors that don't stand out and give any real color. In the training nets, I couldn't figure out how to change batting difficulty, so I was always stuck with this huge ideal timing meter which made batting very easy. and not a good replication of batting out in the middle where the ideal area is very small. Same terrible fast bowling action, may as well just bowl off 2 steps as all momentum is lost by the bowlers by the time they bowl as they practically stop on the crease. Camera is good with showing run-ups though. Keepers take the bails off when the batsman is in by miles. Binod has no new lines except a couple that allow him to throw away to Mark Nicholas. Many of Nicholas' lines are carbon copies of Jim Maxwell's. If you are going to the trouble of recording an entire new commentator, why not at least change his lines a little? Computer is amazing against anyone bowling a McGrath length of just short of a good length, yet can't play anything pitched up. In a 50-over game, the computer was chasing 40, and after 2 overs of Lewis and Siddle, they were on 38. I then brought on White and Vaughan, who bowled about 2 overs each before the target was passed by merely bowling pitched-up leggies to the 2 left-handers, Gilchrist and Langer. Everything is simply too big. That and the ground is tiny, so it just doesn't look good. The players themselves look superb, but when you put them all together, it looks terribly squashed. Despite leading the pack in the graphics field, many EA Sports cricket titles have been criticized for flaws in gameplay, and as a result, many gamers have defected from the genre altogether. Sadly, Cricket 2007 produced nothing good and failed to restore their confidence in the market. I'm not sure if they were in a rush, as Brian Lara International Cricket 2007 from Codemasters was under development too at that time. I'm amazed to see how much overrated this game is. Maybe it is loved by arcade sluggish kids who want to hit every ball towards the sky and for sixes. If you are looking for a game to bring out the firing Alan Donald in you, EA delivers a great challenge for bowlers. Presented in a slick and innovative title, however, batting remains a frustrating and unrealistic undertaking. Overall, I am very disappointed with this game. Will it pry me away from Cricket 2004? No way. It's pretty obvious to me that not enough time or money was spent on the creation of this game. The game just does not represent 3 years of development over Cricket 2004 and is actually more like what I expected to get from Cricket 2005. Anyways, that's my view on the game. Sure, some of you will like this game, but for me, it's a big disappointment. I wouldn't recommend this game. If I have to choose between Cricket 2007, Cricket 2005, or Brian Lara International Cricket 2005, I'll go with Brian Lara International Cricket 2005 with my eyes closed. Even though I don't like that game either. So in short, EA Cricket 2007 along with Brian Lara International Cricket 2005 are the 2 worst cricket games in my list. But if you are after local multiplayer, then go ahead. I would still prefer EA Cricket 2005 over this one though. It's a shame that Codemasters, EA, and Big Ant all went downhill from making good cricket games like Cricket 2002, 2004, Brian Lara 99, and Don Bradman Cricket Series. For now, just keep on playing Cricket 2004 with patches until a better cricket game is released. You can find that video also on Irrational Gamer with EA Cricket 2004 and EA Cricket 2005 patches. I will rate this game 4 out of 10. EA must try harder next time, and that's only if there is a next time. So that's it for today's video. If you liked it, make sure you hit that like button. And also subscribe to Irrational Gamer. Goodbye.